Good morning, everybody. Today I'd like to talk about reducing leash pulling. If you are currently working with your dog to teach them to walk on a loose leash, you probably already know that that's a bit of a long game and it's going to take some time to be successful. So in the meantime, I'd like to give you 3 tips that can reduce pulling on the leash. So let's look at 3 reasons why dogs actually pull on their leashes. First reason, dogs are simply overexcited. That's the obvious one. Taking your dog out the front door to go for a walk is a little bit like walking your toddler through the gates of Disneyland. So what can we do about that? Well, the best idea is to teach your dog that not every trip out the front door leads to them pulling you down the street. Find some good, enriching, calming games for your dog. There are plenty of ideas out there on the internet. But sniffing is an excellent activity for dogs, whether it's free sniffing or whether it's searching for something we've hidden, some food. Foraging is good as well. I do a lot of that with my dogs. I'm always throwing food in the grass for them to go and find, or I'm scatter feeding several pieces for them to go and find. So any of those activities is pretty much guaranteed to calm your dog down, but they're also fun for your dog. And the best idea is to start playing those in the house and then take them outside. If you have an enclosed backyard, that's a great place for it. If you don't, just put your dog on a long line, play on your front lawn or in your driveway. So once your dog has the activities down pat in the house, take them outside and let your dog play so that they understand that sometimes when they go through the front door, they just go and play some calming exercises or activities that are fun for them and tire out their brain a little bit. And then even if you're taking your dog out for a walk, you can still go out and play those activities before you take them for a walk. And if you do so, your dog will probably start the walk in a good headspace. All right. Reason number 2. We have to remember and acknowledge that dogs process the world through their noses. And often to do so, they have to gain physical access to the source of the scent. The problem is that when you have your dog on a 6-foot leash, by the time your dog's taken 2 or 3 steps to smell that great bush or that great tree, they're already pulling on the leash. Fortunately, again, we have a simple solution for that. We just walk our dogs on longer leashes here. So I've always walked my dog on 10-foot leashes. You know, if you're in a busier area, you can just gather up the extra footage. But many of my clients also use 10-foot leashes, and without exception, they've all told me that that extra footage certainly makes all the difference. It gives you time, if your dog is heading off to a scent, it gives you time to follow them on a loose leash so they don't hit the end of the leashes early, so you can keep them on that loose leash. Or if you have to move on and you can't let the dog scent in that moment, it also gives you time to call them back to you before they hit the end of the leash and start pulling. So longer leashes are definitely a great idea. And the third reason that dogs pull is simply because humans are too slow. So there are a lot of us out there that no matter how fast we walk, we're not going to keep up with our dogs who are, fast dogs, who are young dogs. We just can't do it. Fortunately, these days, there is a lot of really well-designed, positive anti-pull equipment. So we're not talking about anything aversive, we're talking about positive tools. Harnesses are our first go-to here, and we use front ring harnesses, which means that there's a strap attached to the collar part of the harness, which comes down vertically on the dog's chest and goes through between their legs and clips up behind. We use the harnesses that have that vertical strap, not the horizontal ones. They don't work as well. But if you hook your dog to the front ring of a harness, your dog will, if they start to pull, they will redirect, and so they won't be able to pull you quite as much. All right, so it's not quite as frustrating for either of you. However, some of us also have powerful dogs or bigger dogs, or dogs that just have a lot of drive and need to go. And sometimes that front ring harness isn't going to work for you. But there are, again, some really good and well-designed head halters that can work as well. With head halters, you may have to condition your dog to like that. But again, there's information out there on the internet, or you can get in touch with us and we can tell you how to do that. So if you would like to know what specific brands of equipment we use, please just go back to the Facebook post and drop something in the comments saying you'd like more information on the brands, and I'll be happy to direct message that to you, as well as information on where to buy some nice longer leashes as well. So if you also take these tips out into the world and you use them and you find that they are working, please, that would be great if you could come back and make a comment about that as well. If you're having trouble with them, on the other hand, you can also come back and ask us for help, and I'd be happy to sit down and have a bit of a talk with you about how to make things work. So for all of you who've listened today, I thank you very much, and happy